Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Good to see everybody who is here. This is really lovely. A couple of just really quick technical things, which I think most of you know, but just in case. One is we're being live streamed, but what they're going to do is the camera, which is there, is going to just stay focused on me. So if you don't want to be in the picture, I hate to say this, don't come near me.
We already have a nice space.
I know. It's like, here I am. But just to let folks know that that's going on. But I'm going to be focusing on us here. So, yeah.
Is it live stream and being recorded?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I have notes because there's a whole lot of stuff I have thought of that I want to do and I want to say, and the notes are going to help keep me focused. So let's actually start out with, since I'm guessing that some of you don't know others of you. So maybe let's just start with kind of your name, your pronouns if you would like, why you're here or what you're hoping we'll do, and then we'll dive in. And we'll go around like this. If you're feeling really shy, you can pass. And then after we go all the way around, I'll sort of give you a look and say, are you less shy? So, and I'm going to save me for last because I'll say a little bit more about me. Sir.
I'm Nordstrom-Loeb, husband of this person here, and my pronoun, I guess, is he and him.
Jenny wrote that, and she, her, and I'm hoping that I'm going to feel more comfortable moving in services that are in person. I felt really free about it on Zoom, and it would just be really nice to feel permission to do that.
Great, thanks.
I'm Deb Machinsky, and I don't have a preferred pronoun, so anything is okay with me. And I like the focus on gratitude. I think I'm trying to balance grief and gratitude in my life.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, yeah.
I'm Michelle. I also don't really have pronouns, but she, her makes the most sense to me. And I have been attending Soraya's B Mitzvah class as a parent and some services. And I want to join the movements I see, but since I don't feel like I know all of the rules, like at the meeting, I saw on the bottom of the text, rise to the toes during this time. So like connecting the stuff that I feel naturally compelled to join and my learning of Jewish services in general.
Thanks. Gonna what? Okay. All right. Hi. Come on in. Have a seat. Hi there. Hi, Pat. So we just started, and the one thing that maybe the pre-thing that's important is we're being live streamed and recorded. So if you don't want to be live streamed or on the camera, it's going to focus on me, so just don't come close to me. And we're just going around kind of saying names, pronouns if you want, and also kind of why you're here, what you're hoping, and then I'll dive in. So actually, and you can pass, and I'll check back.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn, but you get to pass, and then I'll check after. We sort of just went around that way.
Well, I'll tell people who I am.
Okay.
I'm Jackie Wiersma. I am from the Quakers that share the building with Nordstrom-Loeb, which is how I heard about this.
Ah.
And Barbara has been a colleague for a long time, and I think she does wonderful work. And we were just at a conference together where
Yeah.
she did a workshop with us. So I want to continue this learning, and I and a colleague at the Quakers are also doing similar adult ed with spirituality and movement. So I want to understand a little more. I know.
Great.
We did one, we call them mid-morning meetings, and it was so popular that all the questions were, when can we do this again?
Great. Thanks. Welcome.
My turn, Pat Levine. I'm from Mayim Rabim. Used to be Shir Tikva a long time ago. So I came because I'm a movement person, and I like this kind of stuff.
Yay.
I went to the other workshop, and I liked it a lot too.
Great.
Because I like to sing.
Great.
Thank you,
Thanks. Well, thanks, and thanks for being here. Welcome.
I'm Rabbi Sharon Stiefel. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the rabbi at Mayim Rabim and the pastoral care rabbi at Shir Tikva. So this is a twofer for me today. It's beautiful. Bring the two communities together.
Both sides of you. Yeah.
Barbara, I've known Barbara for a long time, and she talks about embodied prayer and wanting embodied prayer. And I want to understand embodied prayer. So I'm glad you're doing this.
Thanks. I'm glad I get to do it. Thank you.
And I use she, her thing.
Okay. Thanks. Great.
Me too.
Okay. I'm Barbara Nordstrom-Loeb. I use she, her, and I'm doing this. It's, I talked with Jenny about it. And my fantasy is that this isn't just a one-time thing, but because there are so many ways in and doors into movement and embodiment and prayer, and it's really rich. And I'll talk a little bit about the structure of what we're going to do today, but I'm excited to be doing this. And as I'm listening to all this wonderful reasons and what people are looking for, I'm like going, okay, I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy, but my hope is that it opens a little window and that more of this will happen, because this is something I really am excited about and passionate about. So welcome, everybody. Let me say a little bit about what I'm intending us to do today. For people who weren't at the first part, this is a two-parter, which is really focusing on deepening into prayer and ways of deepening into prayer. And it's kind of specifically working from a Jewish perspective and Jewish texts. Although we're not going to really work from the texts a lot. I'll sort of give some brief overviews, but there's a way that this is about, what I'm going to want to invite people to do is find out if we don't kind of go deeply in our heads to analyzing the words, which is also a really wonderful, profound process. But if we just kind of start with what our bodies know and allow our bodies to be present, then what happens? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. For me, just to say, for people who don't know me very well, I'm kind of on a soapbox for body and movement, and also, to me, I would also say dance, but dance, I see everybody's always dancing. So we're always dancing. We're always in our body, we're always moving, and that our bodies are a really essential part of who we are. And I'll get into this later, but that the whole idea of prayer is that it works best. I mean, we won't get into like the philosophical, who are you praying to, or what is the purpose of prayer. There's all these great, at least in Jewish tradition, all these great kind of conversations about, what's going on that level. But that the idea is that it's about when we pray, for whatever reason we're doing it, however we understand it, that it's about being fully present. And to be fully present means not just what we're thinking in our heads, but inviting our bodies to be part of that. Given the structure of these two workshops, we're gonna focus on, there are two different prayers. The first one focused on a morning blessings prayer. This is gonna kind of use as a jumping off point another prayer that's about gratefulness. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. But I also think that any experience, any prayer can be a starting point. This is just a kind of an arbitrary one. Okay. What else do I want to say? Yeah.
Barbara, if I could just say, there's a bathroom through there.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
There's water and oranges and applesauce over there. And they're for us.
Yes. All right. So, trying to think what else I want to say. The other thing I think I want to say about what we're doing is this is going to be bringing in body, working with the body in a way that's more spontaneous. There'll be a couple of places. I mean, one of the things I really love about my Jewish tradition is that their body and movement is already embedded in it. And there are things like you bow here, you take 3 steps here, all of those things which are these wonderful dances that have meaning, and they're sort of culturally meaningful to people who know. And you just, when you learn it, you go, oh, okay, that's what it is. We're going to focus a little bit more on kind of how we bring ourselves to the intention of a particular prayer. So it's really more improvisational, and it's really more kind of not, this is how everybody does it, but it's more saying, how can I bring myself more to this idea? And that's going to be unique because we're all different, which is kind of the wonderful thing I love about this. Great. Yes, the other thing I want to say is that we'll be doing, going back and forth between doing some moving, doing some talking, sharing, going back, kind of in and out that way. What I want to ask and invite everyone to do is to participate in a way that feels comfortable to you. So we're all moving all the time. Even if we're still, there's movement. So for some people, you might have a lot of energy and you might want to do something really big and you might want to stand up, and that's fantastic. Other people, it might be just very tiny, or it might be still, or it might be just something really little. Those are all true, and those are all real. And so this isn't about doing what you think somebody else wants you to do, but it's really, when we'll do a little bit of this for practicing this, but sort of listening to, all right, what is it my body wants to do in this moment? And how is it to just do it? Okay, thoughts, questions? All right, so what I'm going to actually do, this is kind of, we'll see how this goes. I made up a new playlist. I went through all my kind of Jewish music, and so it's like, oh, okay, I don't usually get to draw out all of these things. So we'll see. What we're going to do to start with is I'll put on some music, And I'm going to guide it a little bit. What I say is not what you have to do. It is just a suggestion. If the suggestion is helpful, great, use it. If it's not, do what would feel right to you. Whether it's big, whether it's small. Move and participate in a way that fits your body, that fits your energy, that fits your comfort. I mean, with the people I know, it's like I'm in a group where I know almost everybody a little bit. Some of you might be like, oh my goodness, I don't really know anybody. And so it's okay to move in a way that honors that shyness, that not sureness. So whatever you do is exactly right. Any questions? Yes? Can we get started? Yes, we can. Thank you very much. It is time to get started. This is it's a great question. So check in a minute. Can you hear me over the music? Is that, music's too loud. Okay. How's that? Is that better? Okay. So just take some time. First of all, let yourself just maybe start breathing. Noticing your breath, seeing what your body wants to do to the music. You can shut your eyes. You can open your eyes. Some people are swaying. Some people are breathing. So I'm going to just suggest a possible image if you want, which is I want you to just imagine as you're moving, if you're moving, that it's like inside you've got all this wonderful massage oil, and you're going to move and just kind of massage and move your joints however you want. And as we do this, just kind of let yourself kind of go through your body. I'll say different body parts if you want. A lot of people are moving hands. Some people are moving feet and ankles. Just kind of getting those joints moving and warm. For people who are younger, this gets really important. The older you get, right, great. And legs and arms. And notice too, some might, yeah, great. So some people might want to go to the floor. Some people might want to stand. Some people might want to just stay sitting down. Whatever you want to do is fine. Great. Oh, some good stretching. Hips, spine. In some ways, this warm-up is about inviting, welcoming your body to be a little bit more present, however it needs to be. If you're not sure what to do, you can always just breathe. Seeing shoulders, some great hip stretches. Lovely. And we'll do this in a little bit more, sitting or standing, but the rhythm's going to change a little bit. And let the rhythm go in and just kind of keep moving. And even though we're kind of in a spread out circle, I want to do something that maybe connects us a little bit. You can stay where you are or come back in. I'm going to start a movement, and just copy me as best you can. Or not, it's up to you. You can play with it a little bit, and then I'm going to pass it to the person to my right, who can either say pass, then it goes to the next person, or you're going to just, we'll copy them. And then whenever you want, you can pass it to the next person. And if you don't want to do it, you can pass. Woo. Doing it as best you can. Remember, we've got lots of different abilities in this group. Ooh. Gonna pass it. I don't quite know what's going on with the music. I'm gonna see.
Here was a bit spotty yesterday, so if it's not downloaded, it might not.
Okay. Ooh. I'm not sure why that's doing that.
Is it downloaded or are you streaming?
That's not no, it's downloaded.
So then it must be the speaker. The Bluetooth connection to the speaker?
It might, yeah, sorry. The Bluetooth connection. Sorry. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's keep going with that and pretend we have music. I'm not sure why. I don't know if, yeah, like if, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. Okay, that's what I was doing. Okay, I'll wait till Bruce finishes blowing his nose. You ready? Gonna. I might try the music again as we keep going around, but I'll wait a minute. And if you want to, you can make sounds with your movement if you want. I'm picking Michelle because I know she does that. Okay. You can pass too. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Make sure you get everybody who wants to. And then taking a minute, just coming back to your breath. And just checking in a moment with your body. A lot of this, sadly without music the whole time, but a lot of this was just taking a real brief amount of time to just even connect with and invite our bodies to be present. And let's come sit down, and I'm wondering how this was. Anybody want to share anything about this? How they're feeling?
I'm really comfortable with this group. Just
Yeah. That's a nice compliment. Thanks.
I feel more alive and warmer. I was really cold before.
Yeah.
Very warm now.
Yeah.
All over too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun following people
yes.
and
Yeah.
not anticipate what the moves were going to be, but just see what people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like people were showing up.
Yeah, there was a lightness, like a
great, yeah. It can be fun to move with people. Anything else anybody wants to share?
This sometimes we can think that awakening or enlightenment is so this or something, but Quick and Sharp is hey, and so that we did it to each other was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really, that kind of like, okay, whoops, I'm technical. All wired up and I'm not used to it. It's like there is a way that it's like what people were doing. It was kind of connecting with ourselves, connecting with our body, which is important in our movement. Also kind of connecting with people through movement, kind of getting to know them a little bit, and lots of different energies. Instead of, not just kind of like, okay, relax, but there's all these different kinds of energies. And I'm partially naming that because as we get into kind of working with this in a more thematic way, then really to be open to the different energies that are there in our bodies and just the range of what people did. And I was also really appreciating that it really seemed like people were doing what felt right to them to do. And that was absolutely, that's like bottom line for me. So for some people it's like, yeah, let me jump in and do that. And other people it's like, okay, that's enough for the moment. That's okay. No, I'm going to do this. And that also feels really important in terms of where I'm hoping we're going to go with this. Anything else anybody wants to say?
Actually, I didn't know how I was feeling at first, but I realized I was just feeling a great sense of calm. It just felt like I was tuning in a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun is important, especially these times that we're in.
Yes.
It's like those moments of fun are really important. Great, thanks. Anything else? Okay, well, let me do a little bit of talking, and then we'll go back to some movement in a different way. I'm just trying to think. I'm actually wondering if with the music, if this kind of live stream is interfering with the Bluetooth. Okay, all right. I'll try it again later. I'll try it again later and see. And anyway, dang, it was really fun music. All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about, I'm going to kind of dive in a little bit more, just in terms of body and movement in Jewish tradition. And also just to say that what I'm going to say is more specifically from Jewish tradition, but we are not the only peoples in the world that understands that spirituality and prayer and ritual and sacredness involves body and movement. There's all sorts of different ways. And so to just acknowledge those are amazing ways, and going to dive a little bit more focusing into from a Jewish perspective. And in Jewish tradition, dancing and moving has always been a part of our tradition. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details, but it's like King David danced, Miriam by the Red Sea danced, Psalms, there's dancing. There's all sorts of dancing as a way of expressing feelings, as expressing inner experiences. There's a kind of group of early on Hasidic Jews who dancing was a way of really embodying the intention of what they were meaning in their prayer experiences. So I always feel really pleased to kind of remind myself that in my tradition as a Jew, that's something that has been really a part of my heritage, Jewish heritage, since the beginning, as far as I know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm only going on what I read.
I think you're doing a fine job.
Thanks. Thank you. So, and so in terms of prayer, what that means is that prayer is about, without getting into like who or why or what the purpose of it is, but that praying, to me, there's something about showing up fully, showing up with all of who we are as a way of connecting our kind of body self with the spirit divinity that's infused in ourselves and in the world. And that the bridge is bringing our bodies more fully to it. And so understanding the words are important, but then also bringing our whole bodies and letting our bodies be part of that is important. Yeah, I'll just sort of, I'm going to go down. So sorry, you two. I'm going to do a little more talking. You can sing to yourself, la 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 la, if you want. I think other things in Jewish tradition that kind of the whole idea that B'Tselem Elohim, the idea that we're all in the image of God, or what one of my favorite rabbis that I use a lot when I'm talking about it, that it's like the God spark, that we all have a God spark inside of us, that our physical bodies have a sacredness about them, and that they're together, they're the same. Lots of stuff, breath, which is something in many, many different traditions, the use of breath as a way of connecting with what's sacred, connecting with wholeness. Again, they're just kind of examples. And that prayer is this way of taking our inner longings, our inner desires or experiences, and connecting to something larger than ourselves. And that to bring the body into it is really, really important. So then the first thing for me is then, okay, what are some of the many ways of connecting our bodies and our movement to our intention, to the words of the prayer? And what I want to do is I want to just ask people to do something. We'll do this actually without music. And this is not so much diving into prayer yet, but of kind of paying attention to our bodies in a particular way. Usually, in most movement practices that I'm aware of, it's kind of like our heads are bossing our body around. So our heads are saying, okay, breathe. Okay, do this pose. Okay, bend here, stand here, do those kinds of things. And that, there's nothing wrong with that, but then also what gets important too is letting our bodies guide us. So what I want to invite you to do, and we'll do this kind of briefly and just kind of see where this goes, is kind of a more internal practice, which is what I'd like you to do. I'll sort of talk you through it. So shift your focus inside or shut your eyes. And when we do this, I also want to remind you that our bodies hold all of who we are, all of our experiences, so that really kind of you get to go as deep as feels right to you and feels safe to you. So as you're noticing your body, and you can be still or you can be moving, whatever that is, could change back and forth. Let yourself start to notice and kind of sensations, impulses, rhythms in your body. And for some of you, when you notice that, your head might jump in and make up a story about it, or remind you of like, oh yeah, that's my heart beating. Oh yeah, that's my breath. Oh yeah, I shoveled a lot and my shoulder hurts. If you can, put that story aside and just notice what your body wants to do, whatever it is, and let yourself do it a little bit bigger. So let your whole body, whatever it is. There is no wrong way to do this. And I'll keep talking a little bit. Feel free to totally ignore me if you're doing fine. This is more if anybody's not quite sure. So for some of you, the movement might get bigger or not. It might change. So as you let your body do what it wants you to do and guide you, you might notice some other impulse that wants to happen. So just take some time. For some of you too, you might want to notice parts of your body you might not usually pay attention to. Sometimes it might be feet or legs. Sometimes it might be your brain. We'll take about another minute with this. So if there's an area of your body that you particularly want to make sure to have an opportunity to guide you, now would be the time. And for some of you, this might be quite enough time doing this. For others of you, it'd be more like, oh, I could do this for hours and hours. But in the structure of this workshop, maybe take another 30 seconds or so, just finishing up in whatever way you want to. And then before you open your eyes, and I'll kind of hold some space for sharing if people want, just take a moment to think about how this was for you, how your body feels, maybe where you were surprised, or anything else you might have noticed. And then when you're ready, let your eyes come open, and you can keep on moving if you want to do that. That's okay too. Yeah. So I'd love to hear if anybody wants to share anything about how this was. This was a different way of moving, much more inner. We did the first part, which was a little bit more external, relating to each other. What happened? Yeah?
As someone who came to Judaism later in life, I've always kind of looked around and said, oh, this is how we do this, or this is how we do that, whatever. And so, sometimes when I come into the sanctuary, it's like, oh, I can flip through the Siddur and get ready in that way. But I kind of like just sitting in the chair and feeling what's inside, and that was really nice.
Great.
As a way to prepare for services.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely. Yeah. Thanks. Anyone else?
Well, as a Quaker, we do a lot of silent sitting. So I have discovered with some of the small group work that we do, there's one called Experiment with Light, light being our
Yeah.
And it feels like all of the cares of the world are going away, or any little niggly things I've been worrying about, and they just kind of twitch off.
Uh-huh.
or whatever. But and it also feels like going down a slide into like a water slide, but nice and slow.
Ah.
And just sinking into this really nice pool.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of that, I like to swim and I haven't been swimming and I notice my body doing swimming movements.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just loves it.
Yeah.
Just loves it.
Yeah.
So I too would like to use this more as a way to get into prayer, to get into my body, to really be there fully.
I love it.
To use this practice and
Yeah.
just go in. And I do this a lot, but I miss it. I've been missing it. I
Yeah.
have not been doing it as much. So thank you so much for the reminder.
Sure.
Yeah.
Be great. Thanks. Other folks, yeah.
I spend a lot of time in my head, and when you mentioned, like, shoveling a lot, I noticed that I have something going on in my back that I think happened when I must have been shoveling on Tuesday. That was big snow, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And, it's just a little, it's not major, just a little uncomfortable, but this allowed me to kind of like go into it, compensate, whatever. I feel like somewhat self-healed, but I also feel very present in my body in a way that
Yeah.
I don't usually, sit down, lead a service.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not like spend half an hour getting ready.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah. Yeah. I think we're all kind of appreciated. Part of me is like thinking, oh, I wish I had a mom I could get up closer to. Some of it from me might have been a little bit jealousy, but in a nice way. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
worried a little bit because I don't know if that's the mom in me. Like, should I go walk? I'm sure she's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
As one who used to spend lots of time in the bathroom.
Right. Yeah.
She's doing the movement that
Yeah. She needs to. Right. Right. That's another part of this particular approach to movement. I mean, in dance, I'm not going to go into dance therapy. It's called authentic movement. It's a way of really tuning into yourself, but it is a way of really. I mean, there's a piece of it of also saying, of welcoming and embracing all of who you are, and just being you, being present to yourself, and like just in terms of like bringing that to prayer is about, so then if I'm present to me, I can be present to something larger, to my intention when I pray. So anything.
That was the piece of your directive that I really started with was that God spark idea
Uh-huh.
as the place to move from, like connecting to that part
Yeah,
of me,
yeah,
which to me is really true prayer, that connection with the divine and the divine.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what was, that made me kind of reach out to
yeah,
the divine parts of my daughter in this case, but of others.
yeah. Yes.
I noticed that too, that while I was doing it, even though I was internal, I was also looking around, and sometimes I would take a movement that I saw someone else do, and say,
Yeah.
let's put that one on.
Yeah.
See what that feels like. So
Yeah.
while I was internal, I was also very connected.
Yeah. What a wonderful place to pray from. Being present to yourself and being present to the world at the same time. Nice. Thanks. Anything else anybody wants to add at this point?
I was surprised I went to a much lower movement. Like, I usually, when I start moving, we start stretching and stuff, I have a lot more energy and I want to move. And this, instead, when you had us look internally, where it was like, what I really, my body was saying was, just be quiet and breathe. Like, it was just,
Yeah.
that was it. And yeah, I was surprised, but that's what it felt like. It felt like.
Wow, and then you chose to listen to that and follow that. Wonderful. What happened when you did, when you sort of,
It really was relaxing. Really, it seemed like relaxed from some sort of core place.
yeah,
Just all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, ease into myself and the universe, and sort of like, that's
lovely, thanks. Yeah, a lot of times I say to the folks I work with, I mean, I think our bodies are really, really wise. We just don't always listen to its wisdom. And so part of this is just saying, oh, let me listen to what my body knows. Anything else? All right. Well, obviously, this could be something that we just take further, and you can return to this if you want. I want to kind of dive into briefly the specific prayer we're going to focus on, and then kind of take what we just did and sort of take it into gratitude. So just, this will be a really quick overview. In Jewish tradition, particularly if you are more traditional, you would pray every day. And this is a prayer, it's the Amida, which is done standing. It's a prayer that happens kind of almost at the center. Some places that I've read would say it's the core of the service. It's actually a series of kind of different prayers. There's 18 of them. Yes, 18. I don't usually do the daytime ones, sorry. There's 18 during the weekday. There's 7 during Shabbat, which is Saturday, and that's because a big chunk of the 18 are sort of things you're asking for. And because Shabbat you're not supposed to work, then you don't want to ask God to work either. It's one of the prayers that I really love it because it feels like it's like the place in the service where everybody is standing, everybody is facing the Torah, where the Torah is kept. Everybody is praying with their own self, even though the words are the same. And there's this, actually, speaking of movement, and when I was sort of researching this a little bit, apparently this is only with Jews from Eastern Europe, so Ashkenazic Jews, that it's this, there's part of the movement is you take, what I do is like 3 steps forward and you bow for the prayer, and then when you're finished with all of them, you come back. So that's one of those prescribed, you don't have to do it, but I always feel like, I'm in the presence of something sacred, and that I get to step into it, and I get to acknowledge and bow to it, and then when I'm done, I leave, or I move back, and I kind of always love that deeper meaning of it. It's a lot of different things. We're going to focus on one that comes at the end, and at the end there's actually 3 prayers, blessings in a row, that come at the very end, and they are the same weekday and Shabbat. And the first one, which we're not going to focus on, is called avodah, which means work, but it's like, that prayer is about, for me, on a deeper level, it's about what are the things we can do in the world? Where do we have power? Where do we have control in our life? What's the work we can do, we should be doing, we are doing? That's followed by the one we're going to focus on, which is modim, or hoda'ah, which is about gratitude. But the gratitude is actually, the word root isn't so much saying thank you. It's about sort of deferring to, it's acknowledging, and it's really about those things that we have no control over. And that's everything from, I can't really control that my heart is beating. It's like the stuff about my own physical health and being. I don't have control over that. I don't have control over the sun coming up. I don't have control of, when it's a beautiful day, that it's a beautiful day. I mean, those are things that happen. And that, I think, is for me where the gratitude comes in. It's sort of like thinking about those things in me, in my life, in the world that are just, sometimes when people write about it, they'll talk about it as like miracles or the places of amazement. But those places where they happen and there's something good about them or appreciating about them, and we have no control over it. And so that the gratitude is also kind of mixed with this sense of humbleness in a way. Humbleness and awe, that it's like, I get these gifts. How amazing is that? The last part of this sequence, and I'll just say this, we're not going to focus on this, which is the blessing for peace, but in Hebrew, shalom means wholeness. So that there's a way that it ends with this combining what we can do, what we can't do, what we have no control over, and then bringing them together into a wholeness. So I just wanted to say that because it was like this really gave me the opportunity to sort of think about it in that way. So this is the Barbara version, do what you want with it, but that this is the prayer that we do every single day if you're traditional. And it's about finishing with saying, yeah, I can do this. These amazing things I have no control over, and that somehow at the end of the prayer they come together. So we're going to focus on modim. I'm not going to get to my next page of notes here. I'm not going to focus on the words. I can pass out the words at the end if people want. But what we're going to do for the next movement experience is to sort of really deepen into your body experience, your movement, of where you feel gratitude. And to just sort of say, and there's no wrong way to do this. I mean, there might be times when, like I see something amazing and I'm just kind of like, whoa, and really expansive. And there's other times when something amazing happens and I'm just like, whoa, I get to be present to this, and everything in between. So to just say, what I want people to do, and we'll take a little bit of time doing this, and this is where I'm not going to put on music, but sorry. But we'll take some time to just think about that idea of how you relate to gratitude in this moment, whatever it means, all the many ways. But what I want to invite you to do is maybe start it with your head, but then notice what happens in your body. And I'll give an example from me if anybody's like, oh, how do you do this? Some of you are already like, yeah, I got it. Shut up, Barbara, let me go do it. But that, like for me, let's say, it's like when I get up sometimes in the morning and there are stars in the sky because I get up early, and so I can go, oh, look, there's stars, they're so beautiful. But if I really take some time to see the stars, it's kind of like my body wants to do something like this, just join or appreciate or whatever. So just taking some time to think about that idea that are in this prayer of gratitude. You can do it sitting, you can do it standing, you can do it in a corner, wherever you feel comfortable, and just see what movements come up. What I'm hoping we would do, just sort of let it take you on a journey, but then I'm going to want us to come back together so that if there's one movement or a couple of movements that you feel comfortable sharing, because also this prayer is where we're, when it's done in the service, everybody's all together. So there's an individual part of it, and then there's also a community part of it. So that just to let you know that maybe, and it could be that we'll do a little bit of a sharing. Questions? Everybody know what to do? I don't know what that was. Beep, beep, beep. All right, so let's take maybe about, I don't know, 5 minutes. Kind of see where people are at, maybe longer.
I was going to say 15.
What?
I was going to say 15.
15. Let's say 10 at least, and then go from there. Yeah. So right, I'll try and figure out a time. So we'll do like around maybe 10-ish minutes. For some of you, that's going to be too long. For some of you, that's going to be too short. Come and talk to me afterwards. I'm taking responsibility for that choice. So, and if you get stuck, I'll just be here. Come and ask. take the next bit of time to come back to the circle, taking the time you need to transition back. You can just hold the space until everyone is back, so no rush. So I want to do one more thing with this. And let's start by going around, and if you feel comfortable doing it, share with us a movement or a gesture or whatever that somehow captures something important about what you did. And then what I'd like to suggest is that if someone shares a movement, after they've done it, let's kind of mirror them back, but mirror in terms of not so much mimicking and copying them, but sort of reflecting back something, that essence of whatever you think was in their movement. Doesn't matter if you know exactly or not, but to just kind of mirror back their movement. You can pass. If you pass, I'll come back and sort of see if you changed your mind. And you don't have to do this. I'm going to go that way.
I was trying to move slowly and trying to be aware of, because when I go out for walks or something like that, I don't usually, I'm not aware of moving really. So I was just trying to.
How about you show us slow moving so then we can join you. Yeah. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, pass it to the next person. Yeah.
My movement was really about, I can't have gratitude unless I've accepted these wonderful things. And so I was speaking and looking. The wonders.
And then when you're ready, go ahead and pass. Mm. Love it. Okay. Okay, so we just have to use it, do the best we can within our body's ability. No.
She's young and healthy. She was expressing appreciation that she's young and healthy and has the ability to move her body so much.
Oh, I love it. Yay, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, yes, yes.
And there is just something about this, whenever I do it, I just feel gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the gratitude comes
Yeah.
from the movement. The movement is first.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, while you were talking, I was drawn to that bar over there. And I don't know why I thought I was back in my dancing days, because I used to be able to put my foot up on the bar.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I think I can do that. And I got over there, and I wasn't sure that I could do that, but I did once on one leg. But it just reminded me of the freedom that I felt
Yeah.
as a dancer, to be able to move those parts.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at those amazing windows
Yeah.
and the trees
Yes.
outside, and I became them,
Yes.
which is something I'm liking to do a lot right now, is becoming wherever I am, like really embracing what does that really look like. Can I do that with my arms? You know, but not in my head, but my body, just totally. And I love the differences in those windows. Somebody must have done an
Yeah.
incredible job. And
Yeah.
I never looked at them before, and I've looked at a lot of things here. So it was like just a wonderful time to
Lovely.
play. And I want to play on the bima a little bit, because whoever gets a chance to play on the bima. So
Yeah, there you
I
go.
felt grateful, and I felt grateful to each Torah for what she contains. And, you know, I just felt grateful, more and more grateful as I
Great.
went along.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So I am so grateful for the blood pulsing through my body, the stream of blood. And I donated blood on Friday, and that was after a period of, I think, 3 times trying to donate blood and being rejected because I didn't have enough iron. I really tried hard this time.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling really grateful for all the blood that's pulsing in my body. I
Yeah.
know this isn't exactly the way that the blood pulses.
Yeah. 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 So. And for me, I was just so, as witnessing also, I was just really appreciating just the power of the energy that we created in this space, and that how rare that is in the world at the moment, in my life in the moment. So just kind of gathering it in. Yeah. And let's just come. There's one more piece that I want to do. Might go through this a little bit faster so we can have a little bit of time if people want words. So one of the lovely things, and maybe just come to being in your body, breathing, one of the lovely things about this prayer is that this modim, the end of it, the gratitude, the kind of acknowledging what we don't have control over, it's the last line is about how we, so it's a collective thing, we need to trust. I mean, because it's a Jewish prayer, it's we trust in God, but it's that idea of coming together. Trust is also important in that parts of our life that we don't have control over. So I'm wondering, maybe if we were going to create together a closing movement, and this could be kind of various ideas from various people, how could we do that in movement? To sort of also express our collective need to trust. Ideas? Is that too big and scary? Yeah.
One that's meaningful to me comes from authentic movement,
Uh-huh.
where we stand
Uh-huh.
in recognition of each other in a circle. That's
Okay. Yeah.
using the space with each other.
Yeah. And so this can be something that we kind of add to and build on, but the starting movement is just taking a moment to hold this space, hold this container, and to see all of us for who we are, God sparks inside, for who we are in our bodies, in our beings.
And I'll add to that, using our eyes to
Sure.
really connect.
Perfect.
Whether it's a moment, if that's all we can do, or longer,
Okay.
to really connect with each other.
Yeah.
To say, I see you,
I see you.
I see you.
I see you. So just anybody who feels comfortable connecting eyes, might have to do it a couple times because the person you're connecting with might be connecting with someone else. Just come back to them. Just, I see you. I see you. I see you. Anything else that would be good to add? Yeah. Okay, well, okay, so we can drop our arms. We can drop our arms. What? Okay. If your arms have the energy, put them up high. Yeah.
And I like to think of my heart with gratitude.
Yeah, beautiful. So from reaching up high, then into your heart.
My whole body,
My whole body.
all grateful.
Yeah,
All of you in connection.
yeah,
Aliveness, being alive.
yeah. That's a very hopeful thing, our aliveness. I love it. Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add? So just take a minute. I'll have the last word. Just take a moment, just feeling your feet on the earth. Feeling that dance between your whole body and the earth. Feeling your breath. And then from there, without words, just if it feels right, a gesture or a movement just to acknowledge this body prayer we just did, this body prayer of gratitude, however it feels right to you, let's just do that. And looking around at all the different wonderful ways people are being who they are. Lovely. And then to close, just as we would at the end of this whole entire Amida prayer, let's just kind of take a couple steps back. And sitting down. And we have a little bit of time. If anybody has anything they want to say or share or anything at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I think about how a traditional Jew sets aside time during the day to pray, and we take time during the day to, I mean, not an hour and a half maybe.
No.
But something to
Yeah.
come into the body.
Yeah. I like that idea.
3 times a day to do a body
Yeah.
prayer.
Yeah. I mean, it actually could be very short because it could just be saying this 1 minute, 2 minutes, and just pausing, checking in, where am I feeling gratitude? What's happening in my body? Let me fully embrace that moment and then come back to it the next time. So, anything else? Well, thank you all. This has been really wonderful being able to be part of this and to share this and to also be joined in the part of me that really cares a lot about sort of this whole embodiment in prayer, and that there's something sacred about that as well. So thank you all. I know some people have to leave. I don't know if we have to get out, but I'm happy to stay around, but others who have to leave, just remember your sweater when you go, Virginia. Oh, okay, she'll come back. Yeah.
Yourself something to drink, get oranges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, thank you. Did you come to the party last night?
So, thank you.